It was so bad under the PUP's administration 8 years in that they were saying not even the usual increments that teachers and public servants used to get can we continue with. They froze that. They increased taxation. This was when he had just a little while earlier boasted that, in fact, who said the government broke? The taxes are performing, and then he had to own up to the reality here. Trickery, Mr. Speaker. The words of my friend, the Right Honorable Member from Fort George again, when he was Prime Minister, and in his 8th year, he said, government took the decision to rein in the deficit because we recognized that fundamental imbalances had emerged in our fiscal accounts, and time was not on our side in correcting those imbalances. He said, the alternative would have been to continue to delay the adjustment with potentially disastrous consequences for economy and our nation. He had to slow things down. You remember the economic train that they were talking about that Ralph helped them to lead? It had run away, and they were having serious problems. And like the ostrich, he for a long while was burying his head in the sand when, of course, some of them from that side at that time or this side at that time started to rein him in. And the people of the country, we must not forget, the unions and everybody else started agitating big time for changes to be made. And so, in order to try to save face and to appease some of his own colleagues who was telling him how terribly wrong he was going, and the people of this country who were outside of these National Assembly meetings rioting and trying to make sure that things go the right way, he had a change of heart and tried after so many years to make things right, but it was too late, Mr. Speaker. The writing was on the wall already.
This wannabe Prime Minister could not find it within himself to really concentrate on the budget before us today. So he harps back to the 2006, and it makes me feel that this man has an obsession with me, Mr. Speaker. The Prime Minister has presided over the expenditure of about $8 billion, 8 with a B, $8 billion. And so obsessed, yeah, this word comes up again, so obsessed was the leader of the UDP to win a third term, so obsessed was all of them, in fact, that he has indeed gone for broke. And now the country is broke. Thousands of Belizeans are broke. The Treasury has been raided, Mr. Speaker. The Central Bank has been raided. Amount of Treasury bills have more than doubled. The government has been on a spending binge. And like the proverbial drunken sailor, while the spree is going on, there was no concern about tomorrow. So in addition to the billions spent from the budgeted amounts collected from the people in taxes, they also borrowed and spent millions more. We have heard about the $325 million of Petro-Carib funds, loan funds, squandered. They also blew away $160 million of budgetary support from Taiwan, $20 million every budget year they get from Taiwan. They borrowed millions more from the World Bank, millions more from the IDB, millions more from the CDB, millions more from CABE. And in order to prop up BTL, which they had taken over, they raided Social Security funds for another $50 million. $15 million in addition went to the BEL acquisition. Mr. Speaker, as the leader of the opposition said, the chickens have indeed come home to roost.